What's up, y'all? This is the Relationships and Chill podcast, episode number 19, The Way to a Man's Mind. In this episode, we'll be discussing 3 tips that you can use to know exactly what he's thinking. Stay tuned.
You're listening to Relationships and Chill, the podcast for singles and couples about how to find and cultivate the relationship you've always dreamed of, based on trust and honest communication. Why waste your time going through the typical dating obstacle course, only to end up with drama, jealousy, and heartbreak, when you can find the love of your life and live happily ever after? So sit back, chill, and get ready to make relationships great again.
Greetings, everyone. Greetings. Welcome to another episode of Relationships and Chill. This is your host, Coach R. Anthony, and our aim here at Relationships and Chill is to make relationships great again. We also have a very special guest that's back in the building. I think it seems like she's been gone for forever.
I ain't gonna do
it seems like you've been gone for forever. Like, where you been, on sabbatical?
Man, on leave. Leave
Hey,
without
anyway,
pay.
hey, listen, we got Christina Latrice in the building. You know what
Hey,
I'm saying? We got her in
everybody.
the building.
Feel that she's back.
Listen, I hope y'all made it through the teaching that I did on the Purpose series. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it. I'm working on it. I'm getting better and better every day. And I'm telling you, my teaching series is going to be the bomb soon. They're going to be bomb diggity. So it's a process, but I think it's very important to understand the purpose, at least the way that I frame it, the way that I teach it from, or the perspective that I'm coming from. As I'm like shedding more light on it, it'll become more apparent what I was saying in those things. So, but if you probably, I mean, it's only 19 episodes so far we've done, Christina Latrice.
Yeah. Yes, sir. Yes,
so
sir.
we still pretty fresh. I mean, 19 episodes. Imagine when you was 19 years old. You know what I'm saying? You still pretty young and fresh. Don't know what from what. You know what I'm saying?
Wet behind the ears.
There you go. That's the words. You took the words right out of my mouth.
Hey, young whippersnapper.
Hey, but today's episode, we are going to be talking about the way to a man's mind, right? Now, the reason why I wanted to do this particular episode is because I am going through, I'm working on a book for the ladies. It's going to be called Wifed Up. It's going to be the book that you want to tell everybody, your mama, your sister, your cousin, everybody about. This is going to be the book. This is going to be the book that everybody will want. It's going to be called Wifed Up, right? And I'm working with a group of 30 men, all from all different walks of life. You got professional football players, you got business owners, you got truck drivers, you got, I mean, any kind of profession you can think of. And I'm compiling so much information on why. And now this ain't gonna be like think like a man or anything like that. This is literally how men think and most of the guys that I know are very spiritual guys. They have very good backgrounds. You know, but they've made mistakes now. I ain't gonna lie to you. Christina Latrice. They don't made some mistakes. I made some mistakes.
Hey, we all have, but this sounds like the cream of the crop.
They really good guys.
I want to be in the middle of all you. What's going on?
But that's why I did it the way I'm doing it. I'm doing it from people that I know. You know what I'm saying? Like people that I know, so that way I have a working framework, a working understanding and idea of who these guys are. Not just random dudes that I ain't never met, because they can tell you anything they want you to hear. You know what I'm saying? So, but as I've been going through and digging through and learning about these guys, and you know, like, because another thing to add on top of that, men are really neglected when it comes to how we think about things. We're really neglected, not necessarily from women, especially early on, but as the relationship starts to progress, something just happens between the man and the woman, right? Where you just kind of like, I'm gonna let it be, I'm gonna let him be what he is, and then whatever we have established up until this point is what we work on, that's the pocket that we stay in, right?
Mm-hmm.
So like the man, like these guys, especially when as it relates to dealing with other men, we don't have that kind of interaction with other men. So I'm finding it to be very, refreshing to talk to men about how they feel about relationships, how they feel about love, how they think about decisions that they've made in the past, decisions that they've made, and why they chose the woman that they were with. If they're in a relationship, why did you choose her? What would you do different?
Okay.
Like those types of things, right?
So you mean to tell me y'all dudes don't sit down together and say, "How's your feelings today?"
Nah, we
Let's talk about feelings.
nah, and that's the thing. Like that's what I talked about in episode 16, the purpose of a man. Like men are really designed for work. So everything that we talk about usually revolves around work or accomplishment from our work. You know what I mean? We really focus on external stuff. I was having a conversation with JB today, Candace, and we was talking about that today. That a lot of people
Shout out to Candace.
shout out to Lady K, as they call her,
Yay.
Lady K.
That's our
Shout out,
motivational coach right there.
yeah, shout out to Lady K, Lady Kizzle. Anyway,
Kizzle.
Lady Kizzle. So we was talking and we was pretty much establishing that, a lot of women, their main concerns or main gripes in relationships are about what's going on internally, like what's going on in the house. He's not contributing. He's not helping out with the kids. He's not doing this. He's not doing that. But men, their main gripe is like, I'm doing all this stuff. I'm going out to work every day. I'm fighting against traffic. I'm at work, ready to kill somebody at work, and then I come home and this is the things I get.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like that's the majority of a lot of people's. But once they get home too, it just a man just kind of shuts off. He just kind of retreats back into his
Cocoon.
His little cocoon, his little sheltered area, and inside of that sheltered area is the mind working 24 hours a day. He's thinking about all kinds of stuff. And that's why you have a lot of guys struggling with depression. They're struggling with all these different unspoken, unknown things that nobody knows. Even his woman doesn't know. Wow. I mean, she can sense something is wrong. Like, okay, he's just not in the mood. He don't want to talk right now. He's doing what he does, right? But I think a lot of guys are just not being heard. Like they don't feel like they're being heard. And this is not a knock on women in the sense that I know there's a lot of women that feel that they're not being heard, but this is strictly about the mind of a man. We'll deal with that one later. But I know our audience is predominantly women. And so, this is a very good topic to be able to read it, because you can read this stuff. If you can get this stuff, you can get it early on and know how to keep a man's interest. And that's one of the questions that I ask these men is, how can a woman keep your interest?
Oh, that's a good one.
That's a good one, but I'm gonna say that one for the book, Christina Latrice.
I gotta buy that book.
Yeah, hold on.
I don't need no harm.
I'm a little. There you go. Yeah, I had to put my sound in there. I'm a little slow. I'm doing it all on my own. Anywho,
hey,
it's all good. Anywho, yeah. So, yeah, I mean, it's a lot of stuff. I probably haven't even done majority of the list of guys that I need to do, but I've done quite a few. And one of the main things that I've learned, Christina Latrice, right, as I've been going through this process of asking these specific questions to these specific guys, the thing that I've learned is the first way that you can get into the mind of a man is you really have to understand and respect his perspective. I really respected these guys. So the first thing I did was preface the questions like, hey, listen, this is what I'm doing. I'm doing like a little survey of 30 to 40 guys that I really respect as men. And I just want to ask you guys some questions. And so then they would be like, cool, that's fine. Because I've already lowered their defenses by saying it that way.
Right.
You know what I mean? By saying, hey, listen, I respect you enough to ask you these questions as a man.
Right.
And
Because I'm going
then
to value those answers, like whatever they are.
exactly that too. Yep. And I think
That's
a lot of people, specifically women, as the relationship progresses and goes on, the women feel like it's an obligation that you answer me. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of guys begin to feel like you feel like I owe you this. Like I owe you what I am thinking or what I am, who I am. And then so that's when a lot of guys start to pull away internally. And then they start opening up to other people who they can feel that respect through. So, if they can't feel that respect coming from you in a way that, listen, you don't owe me. I want to really genuinely get to know you. I'm genuinely asking these questions for the betterment of the relationship, not because I guess it's out of fear that the relationship won't work. That a lot of women feel that they ask it out of obligation because they feel like the man should want it to work as much as they do, or exactly the way that they want it to work.
Gotcha.
You know what I mean? So they'll ask it like, you better answer me with that type of perspective and that type of tone. Like, you better answer me, or you have to answer me because you're in a relationship with me.
What kind of energy does that give off?
To a man, that gives off a very competitive, complaining, nagging kind of thing, and then that creates the friction in the relationship. So now she's like, he just don't listen to me. Whoop-de-woo. He, we're always fighting. We're always this. We're always that. And the man is like, she always, like basically like prodding at me, trying to make me do something that she knows I'm not doing. Like, obviously I'm not doing it for a specific reason, or I'm just not doing it. And then so a lot of women will continue to prod and be like, listen, because to a woman, I understand, to a woman, it could equate to feeling like you're not invested into this relationship like I am. Mm-hmm. Because you're not giving me what I think a man should give, or what you were giving me 20 years ago or 5 years ago or 6 months ago. You're not giving me that. So in order to protect this relationship, or to protect the idea of this relationship that I have, I'm going to pick at it until you give me what I'm asking for.
Right. And that never works. That never seems to work.
I don't think it does.
So what's the alternative, though, of that?
I don't know. You tell me what the alternative is.
I don't know. No, just oh my goodness. I guess,
the alternative to, like, what do you mean? Like, the alternative to what?
Behaving that way, like, nitpicking and trying to get your way. Like, what's another way to kind of tap into that thing that really is the desire of the person who's coming at their mates,
Well, I put it to you like me and my wife, we had this thing today, right? We had a couple things, like the dishes. I put a dish up there and she's like, you always just leave your dish without rinsing it off or whatever, right? I'm like, I always rinse my dish off. And she was like, no, you don't. I was like, yes, I always, like, I make it a point to rinse off my dish before I put it in there. But she insisted, and I was like, well, give me a percentage. Like, how often do you think? So, like, that's what I do. Like, that's what we try to do. We try to make it funny. We try to make it in a way that, okay, tell me the last time. I need the date and I need the time. Like, I tell her all the time, like, give me the date and the time that happened. And we'll start laughing about it. She's like, I don't have a date and a time, but it happened before. I was like, well, it didn't happen if there ain't no date to it. So
that's good.
But that's how we try to keep it light, and we try to keep it fun. Yeah, because we know how easy it is to get to that place where, like, now y'all are arguing over dishes, or y'all arguing over where who leaves the refrigerator door open, or just stuff that just stuff, like, and then that's where the comparison starts coming in, and what you doing and what I ain't doing, and what, you know what I mean? Like, you always you always leave your dishes out, or you don't never do the dishes, or just petty stuff like that. And then next thing you know, you guys are moving further away from each other instead of closer to each other.
Yeah. Yeah. So how do you avoid that though? Just by staying lighthearted?
I think so.
Or what if you already crossed those lines is what I'm really saying. Is what if you've already gotten to the point to where you nitpicking and you pointing your finger and you blah 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 and all you ever do, and like how do you reverse the damage of that?
Man, I think me personally, if I was there, I would try to. It's tough because once your feelings are already there, it's tough to try to revert back because it's just so much damage has been done.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you just don't even like really like the person anymore. But me and my wife ain't there. Like, we'll never get there because we keep it like, I know that that's possible. So what I try to do is, and what I would do, I'm getting to that, but I want to say this first. But like what I do, like I said, I keep it light. I keep it fun because I want to like her. I want to stay liking her. Mm-hmm. So I don't let it go past a certain point because I want to continue to like her, and I want us to continue to grow together and have fun instead of like, oh, she's blaming me for this and that, and now I'm looking at her like, well, I'm gonna start blaming her for stuff she ain't doing.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Because she doing that to me. Like, she ain't have to say nothing about no dishes. She could have just rinsed it off and not said nothing. But that's what I'm saying. Like, I could look at it that way, but at the same time, I even will find that funny. I'm like, listen, how dare you, woman, bring up some dishes in my house? You know what I'm saying? Exactly. You better respect me, woman, before I turn into Mister or I turn into Ike. Woman. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I will rule you. Nah, but I would say something like that just to make it funny, just to make it fun, because I want to like her. I want to stay in like. I love her always, but I want to stay in like. Like is the icing on the cake. Love is the cake. Man, don't nobody just want no pound, just no dry cake. All right.
No, I know I don't.
Hey, put me some icing on there. That's the light.
Put some icing up on that
Put
cake.
some icing up on that thing.
Hey.
So, but if that was the case, if we only had just the bread of the relationship, just the bare cake of a relationship, hey, we got to start shellacking that thing down with some icing. We got to start back liking. You know what I'm saying? We got to start back like, okay, let's turn off all this stuff. Let's talk. Okay, let's talk because I don't like being here. I don't like being not in like.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So let's understand each other's perspective. But like I'm saying, if it's a man, it's good to understand his perspective up until this point. You got to make sure that you like, for me, I had to humble myself and really come to these guys in a way that, because if men are listening to this episode, like, you know how it is. We talk about sports. We can talk about all that stuff, and it gets heated. But you see how that works. Like, when men talk about sports, it get heated, but it's fun heated. It's not like we're really trying to fight each other. It's like we get loud and we go back and forth. And so I think a lot of men want that with their woman. They want to joke back and forth in a loud way. But women tend to get so offended and so hurt by the fact that they don't understand that it relates to not just sports. It relates to like the dishes. It relates to cleaning up or, whatever. Like, men want to have fun with you. Let them let them joke with you. Maybe he is just joking initially, and then you take it too far, and now y'all are in a place that he wasn't even intending to be. But always digress, and I like to, like I said, always digress, because sometimes you just gotta let it cool down and then go back and say, you know what? Like, me and a friend of mine, we had a very, very heated argument, like, and she hung up on me. You know what I mean? Like, hung up, slap her in my face, and I was like, "You got anything else?" And then she hung up. I was like, "You got anything else to say about this?" And she just hung up on me. So I was like, cool, whatever. So I was like, man, let me just calm down a little bit. Now, this ain't my wife or anybody else, but I was like, let me just calm down a little bit. I was like, I'm gonna call her back, because we good friends. So I ain't gonna even do it like that. Before I can get my finger down, here she is calling me back. And so we talked about it. And then next thing you know, we was crying, laughing about it. But we really got to a point where I was like, man, forget that. Like, we cool and all, but I ain't got time for that. Like,
Right.
I ain't got time for that. But that's what I'm saying. Like, somebody's got to humble themselves and say, you know what? Hey, I didn't like this. I didn't like that. I didn't like this. But listen, maybe I was wrong. Maybe I looked at it wrong. But I really didn't like that. And then it gives them the opportunity, especially for men, it gives them the opportunity to pursue your perspective. That's what humbling yourself does. It gives you the opportunity to pursue another perspective.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I try to implement in my relationship. I really try to you know, like, express like, hey, listen, I'm sorry you felt that way, but I didn't mean it that way. I'm sorry you saw it that way. Most of the time I don't even say I'm sorry. I'm like, listen, I really honestly didn't mean it that way. I meant it like this. And I'm telling you as a friend, this is what I meant. I would never do that. You know, as long as I've known you, or, you know, as long as we've been together in this relationship, you know, I wouldn't have said it like that in that way. I hope you do. I literally was saying it like this. But it gives them the opportunity to say, you know what? I'm not going to say that. I'm going to make sure I over communicate that, because I like to be in light with you.
Right. Exactly.
I like when we're having fun. I like when we're joking. I like when we're being friends.
Exactly. That there ain't no feeling like that. I was just sitting here thinking about different scenarios and how fortunate I am to be in that kind of relationship where I can just but he and I, we go back and forth all day. Like, he got something to say about everything. So I look at him and be like, yeah. And then, like, we just look at each other, we just be cracking up. I'm like, yeah, okay. Yeah, well, okay, you don't want me in the back room. 'Cause, like, sometimes I go to the back room and I put my makeup down on the bed. And, oh, that's a pet peeve of his. He can't stand it. Like, you gonna mess up them sheets. And I'll be in the back talking mess, like, okay, I'll take it up off the bed and know a doggone well I'll be right back there and put it right back there. Yeah, he be like, why are you back in this room? Like, yeah, this ain't even your room.
I mean, you know, that's how it should be, though. You know what I mean? It should be like that. Like, even if I'm like, we got to do this, and my wife doesn't do it, I would laugh at her. I would laugh at the fact that she won't do it, because I'm like, man, bless that young lady's heart. She just her. You know what I'm saying? Like, she just her. Yeah, she just her, man. Like, it makes me laugh to see her. You know, like, because, you know, as people, we try to make sure we are best to the world. We're moving at optimal capacity. We're doing everything right. We got a firm grip on life. Mm-hmm. But when you in that relationship and you at home, and you know, you like, I need to get up and do this in the morning, and then next thing you know, you ain't get up till 12 o'clock. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? And then you looking at, I look at my woman like, listen, we got to get it together, baby. We got to work on this.
Yeah, get it together.
We got to get it together. But for right now, it is hilarious.
Yes, it is.
But yeah, so I mean, the way to a man's mind, honestly, is understanding his perspective, seeing how he genuinely being interested in how he sees things, how he sees the world. Is he just joking? Is he serious? Is this a moment where he really wants to express himself to you in a very vulnerable way, and you just don't have the time to, or whatever? Because those moments, those are the most important things. Is those very small key moments for both parties, but for a man, because it happens so rarely where a man is open to express himself. Mm-hmm. You got to be open to allowing him to express himself in the way, not how you believe he should be expressing himself, but how he is uniquely, his individual way of expressing himself. You have to allow that to be what it is.
I don't think we all do that. I can truly say, most of the ladies I know, you know, like with all the little things that we talk about when we say, you know, this is going on, and we don't really allow that. We don't allow that freedom like we ought to. I'll say and the reason why I say we, I can't say I do that now, but I can definitely say I know I had done that before. Where I just didn't just allow, and the fun part of having a partnership is the allowing, is to be, because through allowing you get to really learn the person and not the facade. And I think so many of us fall in love with that like fantastical image of somebody, but reality is they fart, they burp, they
I don't got a
might
problem
curse.
with that. I don't have a problem with that. But like you just said though, it's the influences, it's the idea that we want to have, that we don't even measure up to ourselves. Like, are you ideally the type of woman that you see in those movies? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like, you ain't, like, it's not real to base what a person that you're looking for. You basing it off a fictitious character or an ideology that you've always had since you were. Now, that's a difference between a vision and just like, oh, it's supposed to be like this, it's supposed to feel like this all the time. You don't even feel like you want to feel all the time.
Right.
So you can't expect a man to be like that all the time.
All the time.
You know what I'm saying? And I'm talking about more so just personality traits and attitude and all that stuff that people just have naturally. But if you allow the wrong things to influence you, the wrong ideas to influence you, then you're going to be always upset. And you're going to always be looking at the relationship that you have as if it's the worst thing that's happening in your life right now.
Yeah.
Because that's what you're comparing it to something that's not a reality. Mm-hmm. You just got to base it on what's real and what's true and what's actually going on for you. And a lot of people don't do that, but that's why we create relationships and chill. Like, hey, listen, we giving you the real with relationships and chill.
That's right. Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
This is the truth. This is how it is. Every day you ain't gonna feel like loving somebody. Every day you ain't gonna feel like hearing their perspective and what they got to say and what they got to think about everything. But realistically, hey, they don't want to hear you every day. They don't want to hear what you got to say every day. So,
absolutely.
So we got to work together with that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's work with what we got. You know what I'm saying? Let's work with what we have. That's right. Like I said, 3 things. You got to really seek to understand his perspective, what he's saying, why he's saying it, what is he alluding to, why does he think this way, what's his philosophy about this. Like, I always say it like this: study your partner like you would any other class, because it's the longest class you're gonna ever be in.
That's right. That is so true.
It's the longest class you're gonna ever be in.
That's the one you want to be in too.
Well, yeah, I mean, people, they go to school for all this stuff and only for 4 years, and then they think they got it. But no, it's a continuous learning process. Even if you're pursuing a degree and whatever, after you get out of school, you just now starting. This is just that's not even the beginning.
That's right.
The beginning is the day you graduate, when you got to look for something to apply that information that you have obtained to.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's right.
Those are the 3 things. Seek to understand their perspective. Genuinely be interested in their perspective. Like, genuinely want to know why they feel the way they feel. Okay. And give them room to pursue your perspective. Give them the opportunity to say, well, what do you think about that? Because if you do it enough time, they'll be interested in why you're thinking that way, or what do you think about it. They will be. Right. And have fun with each other. Like, don't be so serious all the time. It's not so dependent upon how you feel that day, because it'll change, and then you be like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean that yesterday, or whatever day it was. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's all I got for today.
That was good.
I think so.
I enjoyed that. I thought it was too.
Where can they find you at, Christina Lynn, Coach?
Hey, Coach Christina Lynn, at Instagram, you guys. I'm so excited about that. And if any of you guys have been listening at the very beginning, I was Caviar's Queen. So I'm representing the coaches now.
There you go. There you
Hey,
go. And you guys can find obviously me at Relationships and Chill or Coach underscore R Anthony at Coach underscore R Anthony. The website Relationships and Chill will be up very soon, and it's bomb, right, Christina Lynn? You seen it?
bomb
Hey,
diggity.
listen.
Hey, no doubt.
Yeah, it's for real. It's for real. Gonna be dope. It's gonna blow y'all's mind. So, hey, if y'all got any suggestions, any questions, you can hit us up. Email is at contact at relationshipsandchill.com. Like I said, you can hit me on a DM at Relationships and Chill on Instagram. That's where you will find me the most. And I will catch you guys next week, next go round. This has been episode 19, The Way to a Man's Mind. You guys take it easy. Peace.
Hey, peace.
Thanks for listening to Relationships and Chill. For more information on cultivating the relationship of your dreams, please follow us on Instagram or Facebook at Relationships and Chill, or subscribe to our YouTube channel at Relationships and Chill TV. You can also visit our website at www.relationshipsandchill.com. Together, let's make relationships great again.